think it was really cool just getting to know you, like, because it's like you, I guess, like just walking past somebody, you wouldn't really be able to know that on social media, they want you to see.
Yeah.
You don't really get into like the behind the scenes.
The things that you think in fashion that are going to be quick take you the longest amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when it comes to like sewing a pocket on, that could take you probably about a good 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what kind of pocket it is, how many you got that you see on the mannequins. That's called muslin. That's basically, think of like the blueprint of our design.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it's called blue dot paper. And essentially, that's literally like, it literally looks like blueprint.
Learning the language of things, because like we just see like knowing that it isn't just like, oh, that's that, but it actually has
like the
purpose.
jargon. Yeah.
He said, "This is flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. She shall be called woman." It was all woman when you saw me. Any real people.
Hey y'all, welcome to All Things Kingdom, where we talk faith, food, fashion, and future nursing. And we're back with another video. And I'm excited about this video. I ain't gonna lie, it's all inside, but I am excited about this collab. And the reason I'm doing this video, because y'all know, like, we've been doing fashion all month, and so I really just wanted to like get deeper into fashion, like from a person that really knows the language better than I do. Like I'm a consumer. I wear the clothes, I shop and stuff, but she really knows like the fabrics, the designs, the styles, how to sketch and stuff. So we're just gonna get to know her, and so we're gonna let her introduce herself.
Hi y'all, my name is Kyissa. I'm a fashion design major, and yeah, I'm really excited to do this video with Sharice. And I'm glad she invited me to come talk to y'all.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. I remember that I told you, I was like, okay, I want to do a collab with you, and it was so crazy because I'll be like, I really met you so randomly.
Yeah.
Like you were taking pictures, and then like I was like, you want me to take your picture?
Yes, that was a great day though, and I wouldn't have thought it like would transpire into something else after that. Because I'm more introverted, so like when that happened, I was like, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool for you to come up to me, and I'm glad that we were getting to make this video now. So.
Yes, and just really getting connected with you, following you, like you'll really be doing this stuff, like with the fashion and stuff.
Thank you.
This is like really a passion I can see for you.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm especially with the consistency because that's what they say, and it does work. I believe in it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, getting into this video, like I told you, we just talking fashion, so I really just want to get to know you. Like I want them to get to know you and stuff like that, and just your journey as like a fashion designer. You have your own clothing brand. We'll get into that and stuff like that. But I have some questions, so that I'm going to ask you. Just go from there.
Okay.
Okay, so introduce yourself again. Like, just tell us about Kyissa. Like, who are you?
Ooh, that's bruh. That's bruh. For me to get personal, I see myself as someone who's very caring and that really involves herself in many things creatively. I always want to be able to express myself in that way because it's really my outlet. I grew up in northern Kentucky. I might not know where it's at. It's a very small town, Newport. And we really didn't have that access to have fashion be the forefront of where I'm from. So I think me growing up in that way and then eventually having, social media to help me find that, I really credit that to like inspiring me in more ways. But it first stemmed from my mom, is how I even got into fashion. She got me my first sketchbook, and I always was a creative child. I was always drawing and coloring, but her giving me that book and like feeding my creativity in a more niche way really transcended why I became interested in fashion. And that's when I became more aware of the world around me and the people and what they're wearing. So,
Wow. So you didn't have that access like in your city. That is so, wow, that's cool. That's very interesting. Because you would have thought that like your journey that, oh, this has been your whole life, but like your small town. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are not in a typical place. Like, so just tell them like where are we? Like what is so unique about this place? We got mannequins behind us, we got sewing machines and stuff like that. Like what is this place?
So we are in pretty much the designer's home, as you were
Mm-hmm.
saying when you invited me for the video. We get stressed out in this place. We mentor people in here. We lift each other up in here, and it really builds that community of like we really are all just in the process of learning and trying to help each other out in that process as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even when it comes to us just being in here and maybe I need help with something, sometimes you wouldn't think, oh, somebody else is learning this too. Why would I ask them?
Mm-hmm.
But you can really learn so much more by asking the people around you. And I just love that about being in here because you really feel supported in everything that you do.
That is so. So this is like home, home. Like
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, this is really dope.
And it has taken time to develop. Like when we first got into this program, or at least when I first got in here, I'm a very shy person. I consider myself. So, like, I'm very quiet, but seeing how we just all kind of warm up to each other, it really helps like build comfort in here, especially since I've been in this lab more than I have last year with everything going on. So, yeah.
Cool, cool. Okay. So talking about fashion, being in the fashion designer's home, like let's talk about like fashion in general. Like what essentially is fashion?
Fashion. Whew, um, I believe that fashion really is whatever you want it to be. Like it's a style and way that you do things. And I feel like that happens outside of just clothing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you hear the term, some people say like the fashion in which you do something, it's all about doing and being and creating. And like I said, it doesn't have to just be clothes, it can
Yeah.
just be who you are.
Yeah. I think that like learning about, because I thought fashion was just clothes, but I think it's more of like a person's personality, like their
Hmm.
character, like that is their fashion. Because really the clothes are just like the extra. It's like the external
Yeah.
part of it. So yeah, I would agree with that. That's okay. So talking about fashion, how do you take fashion and add Kyissa to it?
So the way I do that is essentially, especially since I'm tapping more into my style now, um, it's really about just seeing things that I like and that I gravitate towards, other
Mm-hmm.
than just what I see people wearing. So
Mm-hmm.
it really stems from my mood is where I pick up what I want to dress as, and of course the weather as well. But I'm really understanding what works well for me and what I like to see myself in. And that can range from multiple different things. And then I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like fashion for me is just one thing. I feel like it's a many different genres. And I just love that about fashion.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely be styling like I be your content like you did the spin around thing.
Yeah.
Yes, like you it's like out of the box. Like, typically people just I guess minimize fashion to like the trends, the social media trends and stuff like that. But like you said, fashion is really like what fits the person. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, like the stuff that you see on Fashion Nova or Sheen, but you can
Hmm.
create your own like style, your own like wardrobe and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So that's yeah, you be
Thank you.
okay. So you're into fashion and you're a fashion design major, and so you're also a fashion designer. Like, so take us through. You took us through your coming up, your upbringing, but take us through your journey, like as a fashion designer. How has it been for you?
It's been a whirlwind, honestly. When I first began like creating my own clothes, probably 2 to 4 years ago. I'm not
Hmm.
really sure how long it's been. It's been a little minute now. But my grandma actually got me my first sewing machine and my uncle as well. And that like having that platform and having that foundation of people to support you, I feel like is really important and
Hmm.
what feeds me to keep going. Seeing people recognize my talents and people I don't even know, like coming
Yeah.
up and like commenting, like it really helps. And so when I first got my sewing machine, I was just doing like little mending projects. Say for instance, like I had a pair of tights that I wanted to turn into like some biker shorts.
Hmm.
That stemmed from like the projects I was doing and like really making sure that I started with the basics and just to understand the machine
Hmm.
because I was very intimidated. I'm like, what am I using right now? I don't know. I can't even sew straight. Um, but then it's like tapping into more challenging projects, like after that point, I then decided to create my prom dress just like a year or two after learning how to sew.
Wow.
And I was still very like, if you saw that dress, like the construction of it, child, it looked good from afar, but like the technicality of it, I knew I wanted to improve upon that. And I was like, okay, being able to draw something and bring it to life is so amazing to me. And that's what I just love about fashion, because once you see each process, each step come more into life, it's like, okay, this is really dope. So
Okay. Okay. So who and or what inspires you as a fashion designer or as a fashionista?
So for me, it's more of a what, and what inspires me is different creative fields, like
Mhm.
stemming from music,
Mm.
painting, just any form of art is like what fuels me and what inspires me in different ways. And I try not to look at other designers too much for inspiration,
Mhm.
because then I feel like that's when it becomes too one notion and like you keep seeing the same repetitive things. Is because you're
Yeah.
taking your inspiration from these different artists who are already creating it.
Yeah.
So being able to translate that from something else, like even nature itself is a form of art. It's like, okay, I
Yeah.
can look at a leaf, the colors that it makes can inspire a different collection of that color. So yeah.
That is so. Oh wow. I love how you put that. That is so true.
Thank
Do
you.
you have a favorite piece that you done? You said you created your own prom dress. Do you have anything else that?
I did make a two-piece collection in my city. Well, near my city. It was in Cincinnati, Ohio. They started this fashion at the fountain type of thing, kind of like a Memphis Fashion Week kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I was involved in that. And I did a little bodysuit piece with like a ruche skirt. And then I also included a dress I made for graduation as well. It was a cross halter ruche dress.
Mm.
Um, and those pieces, I really love those because I love all three, honestly. It's hard to choose because it's like each one I was very passionate about creating, and I know I wanted it like it's me, like
Mhm.
I created it. So, but I will say my prom dress was probably like the best piece that I love the most, but I love
Mm.
all of them.
Okay. Would you say that each piece that you've done, you've been able to highlight different areas of growth, like within your journey?
Definitely. And that just stems from like the challenges that you face when creating the clothing. It's like each step, each mistake that I made, and tying into school now, like seeing, because we're making corsets in one of my classes, and
Mhm.
my prom dress was a corset. And I'm like, okay, I see all the mistakes I made when making my first corset. And it's like, okay, now adding these fundamentals that I'm learning in school, it's like, okay, I understand where I went wrong and
Mhm.
why. And the other two pieces I made, they were of stretch material. Um, so like again, I'm working with a different medium,
Mhm.
and I get to see like how I can manipulate that and what shapes I can make with that I couldn't with my prom dress. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's dope. Wow. Okay. So, what are like 2 to 3 strengths and weaknesses that you've had being a fashion designer?
Hmm. The weaknesses I would say is being impatient. Um, I don't like taking too long on things, but the longer you work on a piece, the better it becomes. And that's something that I'm learning gradually as I keep making each piece that I make. My strength, I would say, develops from my creativity.
Mhm.
I really like to push the boundary of what we constitute as being acceptable in fashion.
Mm,
Sometimes it's challenging, especially in school, because they're teaching you from a book most of the times, and they're
yeah.
like strict and hard about the book. And it's like, I'm not a book. I'm a person who likes to create. I don't want to
Yeah.
go just what they wrote down. I want to do me. So that's probably also a weakness as well, as like me kind of being a little bit, um, what's the word, diverging from what we learn in the books as well.
Mm, that's cool. I think I see a lot of, like people that are, I would say it's more a positive connotation when I say this, but like rebellion,
Yeah, that's the word.
like that's when you're able to see like, people breaking out of the box is when you're able to see like the creativity flow and stuff like that. People not being conformed to boundaries and stuff. So
Yeah,
that's amazing. Okay.
thank you.
Okay, so like I said, we're gonna get into switching topics. Let's talk about Isha. Is it called Isha?
Yisha. Yeah, you're saying it right.
Yisha.
It's just more of
Okay.
like a you.
Okay, Yissa. So you have your own clothing brand.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So I know I always wanted to create something of my own in fashion, and it's been a process of knowing what I wanted to call it and when I wanted it to call it what I am now. And because I started off with Kyissa B customs, and that was just like just to get something out there and let people know, okay, I do create and I create for other people. I'm just not making the stuff. Um, so I started off with that, and then it's been a long process of me overthinking about when to release and how I should, and being afraid of that idea possibly somebody else already having it and being more established in it, and somebody being seen like, oh, that's theirs, not hers. So then I was like, okay, I want to make this more personal. Like Kyissa B Custom is not really what my brand is representative of. That just seemed too casual to me. So it's been a process. So I was like, Yisha. And I asked my mom, I was like, there's two different versions I wanted it to be. It was either Isha or Yisha. And I was like, Mom, which one? And she said Isha. But I was like, let me just add the Y in there because it just adds like something. Just a little splash. So yeah.
That's I was looking on your, because I was trying to, like, scope out the scene, get on your Instagram and stuff like that. So coming across that, I was like, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But Yisha, okay, that's a really dope name. So like, what inspired the name? Your name is Kyissa, but what inspired the Yisha part? Like,
really just wanting to incorporate my name into it as much as possible without it being blatant in your face, because there's a few designers that like incorporate their brand names. What's an example? I can't think of any examples right now, but I know I wanted it to like be me, but like kind of more of like put it together type of way. Some designers like do their name backwards, maybe switch around the letters. And that's kind of what I wanted to encompass into my brand's name. Because right now it's like the full name is KB Yisha, but I really just want to go by Yisha. But the KB's there just to be like, okay, that's like my stamp of like, okay, Kyissa B. So yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully that answers.
Yeah, that did. So who is Yisha's audience, and what is your clothing brand's message?
So Yisha is all about catering to the woman who is not afraid to branch out and just be who she truly is, not caring about what society thinks of what a woman should be or what a woman can be. It's really about her own self-perception and understanding that I can create what I want. I understand people see me as this, but I really don't give a, you know.
Oh wow, that's okay. That's nice. I can see that in your clothing because it does like break out the box. Like talking about the fashion show, you were in the fashion show and stuff like that. So like I could tell in your clothing like that it was like, I don't know, it was just very different. It was very versatile, and you didn't come up with the same pieces. Like the skirt that you did, and then you had the shirt and stuff like that. Like it was different. It was different.
Thank you.
And so talking about the fashion show, talk about that experience. Just being, how did that go about being selected as a fashion designer to be in the fashion show?
So my good friend Sia, she reached out to me and asked me personally if I would be interested in it. And at first I was like, yeah, I could be in it, but it was really hard for me because of like my schedule with classes. So I was letting her know like, hey, I might not be able to be so prominent in it, but I'll try my best. But her reaching out to me personally kind of encouraged me to be like, okay, you need to do this to really set the stage for what your brand is in front of an audience that you're kind of catering to right now. The most people who see you work daily and who you can really make those relationships with. So I was like, let me be involved in it, like do something that's school involved. And that's what I've really been trying to mix, is like being able to be involved on campus, which is really important. I know it's like probably said so much, you would think it's cliche, but it really does help you build those relationships with people. And the fact that they were having the fashion show, they also had it the previous year and I wanted to be included in it, but I really didn't know who I go to about that. So when she reached out to me, I was like, this is your opportunity. Take this opportunity. And so the process, I already had started like one of the pieces before her asking me to do this show. I already had planned to launch the collection, so I was like, okay, you got to get these pieces going. When I tell you, I did more than I feel like I should have taken on, but I was glad I was able to put that out there. So the process was definitely rocky, especially getting closer to the show because as a beginner designer, I have a lot of issues with fit. So that was kind of happening, and it was like 2 days before the show, and I'm freaking out. Even minutes before the show, child,
Yeah.
it was a whirlwind. It was.
What were some things that, looking back, you were able to take from it? It being your first time, and just the experience that you gained through it.
I took from it to not be as hard on myself about my designs because there's people out there who really appreciate you just making it. And I was really surprised. And I look back and I'm like, why were you surprised that some people came to you and were like, I loved your work? I'm like, child, that's just my overthinking side. So that's my greatest downfall. As another weakness of mine is like being just overthinking so much. And I think as designers, we all do that because it's our work. We're very passionate about it. And it's like someone not liking our work is just like heartbreaking because it takes so much time. So, yeah.
I can see that. Okay. So, what can we expect from you or Yissa in the future? Like, where do you see Yissa going and becoming?
She is definitely going to be a lot more spicy. You know, I have one of my assignments. We're developing another collection, and that kind of stems into another introduction of my brand because that first collection for the BSA show was like the birth. So that's why I wanted to use very neutral colors. It's like, okay, this is me inviting myself, this is me introducing myself. But now we're gonna go to who Yissa is catering towards and like really developing that style and that essence of what a woman is and how she becomes that through my brand.
Okay, y'all stay on the lookout for Yissa.
Yes.
I'm telling y'all. So with Yissa, is it because you do custom pieces, and so is it custom pieces that you replicate and plan to sell, or is it just like by order?
Right now it's definitely by order, I would say. I am developing some pieces that I want to just showcase on my website so people know, like, okay, what can she do? Because people have reached out and asked me to like make their prom dresses, and I'm like, I don't want to do that just quite yet because my talents, like the construction, I don't want to put you in that predicament where it's like, oh, this dress is not fitting or it's busting. So I really want to hone in on my craft first before I'm doing more high level work, but it's all about starting. So, and people are very gracious with like supporting smaller brands or upcoming brands. So,
Okay. Any advice that you have for like an aspiring fashion designer or clothing brand owner?
as basic as it sounds, I would say just create as much as you can, despite how you feel like it comes out, despite what you want it to be. The fact that you tried says enough.
Okay. Y'all take that. Don't let it go from
Right
women.
Right.
Okay, so before we get into the last thing, how can people connect with you?
Oh, okay. So I have many different platforms. I'm on Instagram. It's Kyissa, it's my name, but it's KY.ISS.A. I'm also on TikTok, Kyissa with 3 S's. And then you can find me on YouTube as well under Kyissa B.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Did you want to shout out Yissa as well?
Oh, yes. Let me, can't forget about the brand. On Instagram, my brand is KB Yissa. And on YouTube, it's KB Yissa as well.
Okay. And those will be in the description and on the screen somewhere whenever we get to that. Okay, so last thing, I have a little game that I created, and it is this or that fashion edition. And so I have 4, and the scenario is for the rest of your life. And so it'll be this or that. So for the rest of your life, are you doing leather or denim?
Denim.
Denim. Okay, why do you say denim?
You can just do so much with it. You can dye it, rip it up, make it elegant or not. And with leather, it's just so hard. Like, you can't move as much.
It is stiff unless it's like the faux leather, like the fake leather. It's stretchy, but that real leather, it cracking. Okay, so for the rest of your life, would you rather use pencil and paper or digital tools like Adobe or Illustrator?
Pencil and paper all the way.
What
Let
you
me
say?
elaborate.
Yes.
Because now we're actually getting into digital drawing, and it's like I feel like when it comes to pencil and paper, I have way more control over it.
Mhm.
Instead of digital, it's like, okay, I can just like copy and paste, copy and paste. But with pencil and paper, you always have to recreate it, and it's not going to come out the same the next time.
Mhm.
And that's what makes it great.
Okay. All right. So for the rest of your life, are you doing sketch and concept development or sewing and garment construction?
Sewing and garment construction, because
Okay.
that can like kind of be your sketch in a way. I haven't taken draping, but I know in that class it's like, okay, you put your fabric on your canvas
Mhm.
and you just work from there. Like you're literally
Yeah.
drawing out your design right before your eyes. So definitely that, because then you can actually create it too.
Okay. And this is the last one. So for the rest of your life, are you doing Chanel or Yisha?
Yissa, all the way, all the way. I don't. Mm-mm. Chanel, I love you, babes. You know, you did some very transcending things in fashion. But I'm the next generation who's gonna stem off from
That
that,
one.
stem off from that. So yes,
Okay. That was a good one. All right. Well, that's all that I had for today. Thank you so much for this
thank
collab. This is
you.
y'all, this really just like brought me so much pleasure. I'm not gonna lie, because just getting to know you outside of the picture situation and just really getting to know you as a fashion designer, what inspires you and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Yes, and I'm glad you
Insightful.
actually thought of me to like actually come and shoot this video.
Yeah.
Because when you said that one day, I was like, oh, and I was looking forward to like hearing back from you. So when you did, I was like, yes, I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And like usually I'm nervous. I wasn't nervous at all like during this whole conversation. So
Wow. I'm glad. I want it to be very liberating, very free, like just comfortable. So
yes,
I'm glad.
thank you. And it was nice to meet y'all.
Yes, y'all. Okay, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Um, and yeah, I will talk to y'all later. Make sure y'all share this with friends, family, and your enemies. And I'll see y'all next time. Be blessed and walk in purpose. Bye.
Deliver like a dealer.